Sir, put your hands on top of your head. Go ahead and go to your knees.
I understand somebody's been shot inside the house.
She was found with a single bullet to the head, her husband calmly admitting he had lived beside her corpse for 4 long days. What kind of man calls that mercy? Tonight's interrogation doesn't just explore a killing, it dissects a performance. Dave Meyer paints himself as a grieving caretaker, but the evidence whispers something colder. Coercion, control, affairs, and a carefully rehearsed story told to detectives who aren't buying the script.
I killed my wife.
You just tell us what happened, Dave?
This goes back 11 years.
This video peels back the layers of contradiction, exposing how guilt can be disguised as love and how a handwritten note, "No more pain," may have been less about Suzanne's suffering than Dave's desire to escape responsibility. You'll hear the voices of family who refuse his narrative, of clients who reveal his darker side, and of investigators who piece together a puzzle Dave thought he had solved.
I just was in shock when I sat in my house and just tried to not focus on what I'd done.
I'm thinking something set him off. I mean, how do you shoot somebody, I'm assuming in the head, while you're rubbing their back? How do you do that to somebody you love?
Is it justified? No. Do I feel guilty? Hell yes.
Stay with us, because what begins as a husband's confession turns into a lesson on manipulation, hidden truths, and the lies killers tell when the dead can't speak for themselves.
He used to make her have with other men, and he would videotape it.
In a quiet Utah neighborhood, police arrived to a chilling confession. Dave Meyer, a 6'9" man, stood outside his home, hands raised, admitting he had shot his wife Suzanne. What disturbed investigators most wasn't just the single gunshot that ended Suzanne's life, but the fact that her husband lived in that same house with her body for 4 days before making the call. It was a scene frozen in time, where grief, guilt, and something far darker lingered in the air.
Well, I got called here today on a Saturday, and
Sorry, man.
no, you're okay. Maybe you can kind of tell me kind of what's happened.
Yeah, I killed my wife.
Who's your wife?
Suzanne Meyer.
Suzanne Meyer.
You just tell us what happened, Dave?
Yeah, this goes back 11 years. She was run over, had an accident here in Roy. Destroyed her back, her nerves, just totally destroyed her. Very strong woman, in the gym all her life, ran, lifted every day, in shape. Accident crushed her. She went to doctors. She finally ended up having some bars put in her back, some steel bars. However, she was never out of pain. This and that medication didn't do any good. She's fought that for 11 years. And finally she had enough. She, here 6 months ago, through injury here and there, she just couldn't go to the gym anymore. She couldn't run anymore. That was her life. That was everything. We lived in the gym.
As Dave explained, Suzanne had suffered for years after a devastating accident. He painted a picture of a strong woman, once a bodybuilder, reduced to constant agony. But the way he spoke calm, almost rehearsed, suggested more than mercy. His story echoed the lines of countless suspects who blur compassion with control, love with ownership. To the detectives, it wasn't just a man grieving a broken wife. It was a man who might have been broken long before the trigger was ever pulled.
And she used to tell me all the time, if it weren't for my dogs, not me, the dogs. She here in the last freaking month, she'd tell me, here's a strong woman who and I just watched her crumble. She would go to the doctors and automatically they would see she's on. And of course, they didn't give her enough to take care of the pain. It was always to dull the pain. Well, back pain is, she couldn't even bend over to pick up anything off the floor. Finally she reached a point. She said, please just help me. I couldn't do it. And, it probably went on for a month where she just kept asking me to and her misery. And I'm not sure when. I don't know if I've been in shock. I don't know if I've been. I don't know. And I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. We were laying on the bed, and she said, "Please." And she said, "I don't want to live with this pain anymore." And so she was laying half on the bed, half off, and I was rubbing her back, and she said, "Please." I took the pistol, and I was rubbing her back, and I shot her. I guess I went into shock, and I don't know, for 4 days, 3 days, I don't even know. I didn't sleep. I slept odd, just in the couch, on the chair. I just kept the bedroom door closed. I woke up this morning and I know what I needed to do, so I called you guys.
Sounds like that accident was a nasty accident.
Oh, it was. It was horrible.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine being in pain for 11 years.
Oh, yeah. And she was. You'd ask her friends at the gym. She stuck it out for so long and worked through the pain. Here this last 6 months, it got to her. She just couldn't do it anymore. She was tired of getting blown off by doctors. Any doctor she'd go to, first thing they look at it. And nobody'd help her. She'd get shots in her back. It didn't do any good. We got her on some kind of meds. It was a long release. Well, didn't do any good. So.
Dave, did you stay in the house since that time?
Yes. Yes, I might have gone to the store to get the dogs some treats or something. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't know. I guess I was in shock. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't go anywhere. Made the store.
Just beyond the store, nowhere else.
Then came Suzanne's sister, her voice cutting through Dave's calm facade. Suzanne, she insisted, never wanted to die. She had plans, she had packages still arriving, and most of all, she had no intention of abandoning her family. The so-called mercy killing now looked more like a selfish act, a decision made not for Suzanne's peace, but for Dave's escape. Behind the quiet confession, the cracks in his story began to widen.
Are you okay with talking to me? Yeah. Okay. So, really, right off the bat, I just want to let you talk. And I know you probably got a lot to say. So, and then I'll just ask questions as we go.
Okay. Like where should I even start? I don't know.
Wherever you feel like starting.
It's like, my sister did not want to die. There's no way in hell. This is a bodybuilder who has made plans, still has Amazon packages coming. My mom's dying. She wouldn't have let me do it by myself. That is my sister.
Yeah.
She did not want to die. And it wasn't a car accident. It was she was jogging and a bicycle hit her. It wasn't a car accident.
And when was that? Do you know?
It's been 7 years ago.
No, before we got together.
Oh yeah.
So it's been about 10.
Probably right after she got with the murderer.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Did she ever say to you, that she couldn't deal with the pain and she wanted to die.
No. No. She said the pain is horrible, I can't stand this, I don't know what to do. But no, I did not want ever.
You said you took the pistol and shot her.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of pistol is it?
The 9mm.
I know. Is it a what's the brand?
Smith & Wesson.
Smith & Wesson. And where did you shoot her at? So just making sure I understand correctly, she's kind of onto the bed, laying half on the bed. You're rubbing her back. She's saying, "My pain."
Yeah, well, not at that exact moment. She had asked me earlier, please. Yeah, it was constant. It was the last month. It was every day, 3-4 times a day. She was just done. Yeah, it was probably the night before when the last time she asked me to do it. And she was laying on the bed, and I remember what our conversation was, and I grabbed the gun, and I was rubbing her back, and I shot her.
The more Dave spoke, the more his mask slipped. He described himself as trapped, burdened by his wife's pain, as though it was his own. But beneath that narrative lay another motive, a man who may have simply grown tired of a life defined by suffering. Detectives listened not just to the words, but to the tone, a tone too casual for someone who claimed to act out of love. What began as a confession of mercy was unraveling into something much colder.
It was the night before she asked you to do it, I think, so like Monday night.
Yeah, Monday or... Yeah, it was constant, it was a constant part of our conversation. She told me constantly if I didn't have my dogs, I would... Oh, it wasn't me, it was their dogs. I just couldn't stand to see her suffer anymore. It was horrible. It was all the time. It was every day, every morning, she couldn't do things. She couldn't ride in a car for more than an hour. She couldn't fly on an airplane. She couldn't stand. She couldn't sit. She couldn't work. It overwhelmed our life. Her back injury overwhelmed our life. Everything we did, everything, we couldn't do things because of her back.
David, I think when you called into the dispatchers, I think the notes were that you said you choked her?
No,
Oh.
not at all. I called into dispatch and she asked me, I gave her my address and she asked me what happened and I said, I shot my wife.
Oh, okay.
And she said, is she alive? And I said, no. And she said, do you have a weapon on you? I said, no, it's in the bedroom and I'm outside. She told me to wait for you guys to get there and put my hands above my head.
Okay.
I didn't choke her.
Okay, I thought I saw some note about choking. As far as you know, was she ever choked at all?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been married, Dave?
12 years, 12 years.
11 or 12 years. Was this injury causing stress on your marriage as well?
Oh, sure. Yeah, of course it was.
And what kind of way?
Well, here's a viable woman that was strong, was healthy, was a runner, a weightlifter, competed in bodybuilding contests, and all of a sudden, slowly over that 11 years after her injury, she just went downhill. It was just a constant battle on her part to stay out of pain, and she just couldn't do it. And of course, that put stress on me.
How did you deal with it? I mean,
How could I deal with it, man? I just lived with the pain like I had the pain. There was things we couldn't do. There was, it was just hard, man.
In the end, Dave Meyer's story stands as a reminder that the truth often hides behind the calmest voices. Mercy, guilt, and love were the masks he wore, but what shone through was control, fatigue, and self-interest. Suzanne's pain may have ended with a gunshot, but Dave's excuses exposed something darker, a man who rewrote the story to absolve himself. And perhaps that's the cruelest trick of all, not the act itself, but the audacity to call it love.
And I mean, it's all text messages. You can have them. You can.
Okay.
I mean, he used to make her have with other men, and he would videotape it. And
How do you know that?
she told me.
Okay.
And I might have some things in text as well.
Okay.
He has never physically abused her, but he does like he's gonna hit her.
Okay.
And now
And how do you know that?
she told me.
Okay.
And I'm sure I have that in text as well.
Okay.
He is a narcissistic sociopath.
What do you mean by that?
He will forever make himself look wonderful. And that's why it doesn't surprise me he says she wanted to die. Because then he looks like the wonderful martyr and he's doing something good for her. No way in hell. You give your wife a back rub and you shoot her in the head? She didn't even know it was coming.
The sisters' texts sketch a pattern, not a moment, coercion dressed up as intimacy, humiliation filmed for posterity, and a husband who rehearsed empathy the way others rehearse alibis. This isn't grief speaking, it's image management. When she calls him a narcissistic sociopath, the term fits like a tailored suit. Mercy becomes branding, and the script writes itself: saintly caregiver, tragic decision, clean conscience. Only one problem: Suzanne never auditioned for that role.
He said that she was really mean. And he said he just had to blow everything off that she said to him. And like she would just like be like saying things to him, just trying to piss him off. And then she'd try to get him to hit her so she could call the cops on him. Okay. And she did a lot of things like that. I just can't believe he shot her. I'm thinking something set him off. And how do you shoot somebody, I'm assuming in the head, while you're rubbing their back, like the KSL says? How do you do that? How do you do that to somebody you love? Like, sure. How do you kill them like that, you know? And I mean, there was more humane ways to do it, so a lot of the things just don't make any sense to me.
Did he ever have any conversations with you about harming Sue or wanting to hurt Sue or anything like that?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, he told me that he almost shot her.
A couple weeks ago?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, he told me he almost shot her. And I was like, God, I said, Dave, don't do that. I said, freaking leave the house, call me, whatever. I said, don't do that. I said, it's not worth it, you know? I think that's when she was just in his face, you know?
A client steps in, corroborating the aggression behind closed doors and the confession that he almost shot her weeks earlier. Meanwhile, surveillance shows Dave taking out the trash during those 4 days domestic routine as alibi theater. Shock doesn't separate recyclables. If you can schedule chores, you can dial 911. The calm isn't courage, it's calculation. The back rub gunshot becomes not a mercy act, but a practiced motion in a narrative he'd been workshopping.
I was rubbing her back with this hand, and I had the weapon in this hand. I was rubbing her back, and I put it up this way, and I shot. And I threw the weapon over on the bed. And I got up, and I walked out of the room.
So the weapon's in the right hand.
Mm-hmm.
There's no... there's no plan as to where you just pointed the weapon at her.
I just pointed and did.
Okay.
And believe me, I thought a lot about going back in the bedroom and doing myself. And I can't do that. I have to take responsibility for what I did.
If there's, she's talking about just. Did she ever mention that she maybe just?
Oh yes, yeah. 2-3 times a week, she told me if it weren't for my dogs, I would.
Do you know why she wouldn't herself then? If she didn't have those dogs, she'd have done it.
long time ago. Only thing kept her whole life was into those dogs since, you know, her life was the gym and the dogs.
It's the reason they're a man's best friend.
Oh, they are.
That's exactly
they really
it.
are.
Yeah. We would do anything for dogs.
Yeah. She would do her thing in the gym, I would do mine. And, you know, and then probably 6 months ago is when she just wasn't able to do it anymore. She just could not freaking do it. It took every bit of strength she had to walk the dogs. And that was her priority for the day, was walking those dogs.
Yeah. Let me rephrase my question. 6 months ago, you guys stopped going actively every day.
She did. I kept going because I was training people. So that was kind of a added income for us, which we didn't have because she wasn't working.
But she had been to the gym since then?
Maybe a few times, maybe half a dozen times, spread over,
Okay.
you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 months.
Did she have a cane? How was her mobility? She was able to walk freely?
Yeah.
She wasn't in a wheelchair?
No.
Okay. Did she ever go to like physical therapy after the injury?
Yeah, after the injury she did for a long time.
And how long has that been? How long has she stopped going there?
Probably a year after she was injured.
Okay.
You know, it wasn't doing any good.
So maybe 10 years ago she
stopped
going
going
physical
therapy. And when she had her little injuries, like her bicep tear and her rotator cuff tear, she went to physical therapy for a couple of weeks on both of those, but it's not for her back.
Do you know who her therapist or physical therapist was?
No.
Do you guys have a history of like arguments?
No.
Fighting?
No.
No? How would you describe your guys' marriage?
Very good.
Yeah?
Yeah. You know, we were married. She kind of did her thing. I did mine. And, you know, once we lost the gym together, that was, you know, that was kind of weird.
What's that, Dave? You said it was kind of weird after.
Yeah, it was weird not working out with her anymore. I mean, that was our whole life together. You know, and she just couldn't do it. Just, you know, she might be able to do it, but she was in so much pain afterwards, it wasn't worth it for her.
Was there anything that you would like to tell us additionally that you may?
No, not really. I mean, you know, I did it. I'm guilty. I can't say any more than that, right? I mean, I did it. I don't dispute that fact.
Inside the interview room, Dave recycles the same lines. Perfect marriage, little conflict, pain is the only antagonist. But contradictions sprout affairs, stage dominance, a life of control, masquerading as caretaking. He keeps the spotlight on her back while the camera pans to his motive. When "no more pain" appears scrawled at the scene, he admits it's his handwriting. The note reads less like a eulogy and more like a permission slip to himself.
But I'm so afraid my husband's going to find out that I was seeing Dave. I saw him like from February 15th through the end of October 21.
Like you guys were having a relationship?
Yeah,
February 18th through what?
Yeah, the date's on there. I think to the end of October.
Oh.
When his wife was still working, I would go over his house. I knew where they lived before that, but that's why I knew where I was trying to. That's where I know where they live, because I've been over there before to buy stuff from him and take money when Stu was there, like years ago, and I think like 2019. But I started seeing him in February of 21 through, I think, October of 21, and then
February of 21,
yeah,
and through October of 21. Okay.
And since then, she hasn't been working, and we were not able to get together. And to make a long story short, as time went on, I just didn't. I loved Dave with all my heart, but I wasn't going to leave my husband, and I don't think he was going to leave his wife. And I just didn't have the heart to tell him, because he's been going through so many medical problems, that I didn't want to be with him anymore. Like, I just wanted to be friends. I tried to tell him a couple times, but I just couldn't do it. Like, because he's been having such a rough time this year, and I was trying to help him with his medical problems. That's why I know so much about it.
I guess the question would be, did he ever talk to you about wanting to hurt Sue or doing anything like that?
He never said anything like that at all. He really loved her. He just said that, you know, the relationship was going. He wasn't interested anymore. Okay. And I don't know. I feel bad now, because I'm wondering if it was because He said he was tired of going without, and I think he meant, but I'm not sure. Because I'm not the most prettiest girl ever. I think maybe he was just having me over there for, but he seemed like he really loved me. Like we were, I would have done anything.
So you say your relationship between him was just for that, what is that?
That couple of,
6 months, 7 months?
I've been over his house maybe past October 21 until now, maybe 3 times when she was gone.
So I guess the question that I have to you is, was Dave seeing anyone else that you knew of?
I don't know. I don't think he was, but he didn't I think he was only seeing me, but I don't know. I don't think with all the time he was at the gym, and I don't think Sue was leaving the house at all. And so, and I don't think he'd be trying to have with, like, he saw me 3 times this year. I guess he could have been seeing someone else, but I don't know.
The affair partner fills the blank spaces. Months of clandestine visits, a romance he narrated as salvation while keeping his vows in a storage locker. She recalls him saying Suzanne would be gone soon. That phrase is the true timeline intent preceding opportunity. In homicide, future tense can be the loudest piece of evidence. The facade of devotion cracks, revealing a man auditioning for sympathy while rehearsing an exit.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily mean like about that, but just in general, like if there's, is anything that may be important for us to just kind of understand or know pertaining maybe the marriage or what certain struggles you guys maybe had, or if there was outside influences, anything to that effect is what I'm kind of referring to. Okay.
Just, like I said, we're pretty private people. We had friends at the gym, but did we have people over for dinner? No. Did we go over to anybody's house for dinner? No. We just didn't. It was just us. And living with our pain.
How was your mental health that day? Would you say you had clear mind?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Like I said,
this is pretty hard to process. You understand.
We do, yeah.
I did something horrible, and I understand that. And, my mental state that day, I'm sure it was good all day. I mean, I've lived with this. She's lived this. We've lived with this for 10 years, more than 10 years. I think it's been 11.
I just want to reiterate, Dave, we're not looking to, I don't want to repaint anything in your,
Oh, believe me, it's there.
I know. And I just want to travel, kind of walk. I have to try to put myself back in time and try to retrace some steps and kind of go from there. So I apologize if please don't feel like I'm.
I understand you have a job.
Yeah, be patient with us here. That's what we have to just understand and what happened.
It's pretty cut and dry. I told you what happened.
Yeah, sure.
And I told you the why. Anything past that, I don't know. My brain's so jacked up right now. Just
down there at the house. A couple officers down there.
Right.
They've located a couple no more pain written on
Yeah, that was me.
That was you.
Yeah, that was
okay.
Me. Yeah, that wasn't her.
Okay. I didn't know what that was from.
I think that was me.
By the time detectives connect the notes, the texts, and the testimony, the mercy varnish has peeled away. In March 2023, Dave pleads guilty. In May 2024, he's sentenced to 15 years to life. He gets credit for days served, not for the 4 he spent living beside a body. Justice moves slowly, but when it arrives, it reads handwriting. And this time, the only script that matters is the court's. Stories like this pretend to be about love and mercy, yet they're really about authorship who gets to write the ending. Dave tried to ghostwrite Suzanne's final chapter, then signed it "No More Pain," as if the dedication were to her and not to himself. The sentence, 15 years to life, won't restore a life, but it files the manuscript under its proper genre, not tragedy, but control. The lesson isn't subtle. When care becomes theater and empathy becomes branding, someone is always rehearsing an alibi. Keep creating, keep questioning. Storytelling is a long road, and the truest drafts are the ones that survive cross-examination. Like next time when another narrator swears he's the hero, listen for the future tense.